Now the next topic, that is the objectives of financial management. Okay, the main objective of financial management is the wealth maximization. Okay, main objective is the wealth maximization. We manage finance in order to increase the wealth of the shareholders, right? And how is it possible? How is it possible? First of all, you have to understand that what is the wealth maximization and what is the formula of wealth maximization. Shareholders' wealth is equals to wealth of shareholder is equals to the number of shares held. Number of shares held by the shareholders, because as I told you, equity shareholders, they are the owners of the company. So number of shares held multiplied by the price of each share or price per share. Okay, so we have to increase, if we have to increase the wealth, or we have to maximize the wealth of the shareholder. For that we have to increase the price of per share. For example, the shareholder is holding 1000 shares, right? And per share, the value per share is 20 rupees, right? So 20 into 1000, that is 20,000. So he is having a worth of a wealth of 20,000 rupees. Fine. 20 into 1000, that is 20,000. Now how we can increase, how we can maximize this wealth, right? This is only possible when the price per share in the market increases. Okay, that will signify that particular company is growing, right? So wealth maximization is possible through profit maximization. First, company has to maximize its profit, maybe through sales, right? So through any innovation or whatever, like through sales. On sales, company is earning profit. So that is profit maximization. So company has to first maximize its profit in terms for raising price per share in the market. Second, if a company is growing, right? If a company is growing, that also helps in increasing the price per share in the market. So now the growth. Fine. Third one, image or the goodwill. Image or the goodwill. If a company is every now and then coming up with the different innovations, different products, it's working for the customer satisfaction, right? So ultimately that is going to increase the goodwill or the image of the company in the market, and that is eventually going to increase the price per share, of the shareholders. And the fourth one is, there are different parties which are directly or indirectly related to any business. Fine. For example, our suppliers, creditors, stakeholders, shareholders, right? Government. So these are the various parties which are directly or indirectly related to the business or the customers. Fine. So if you are able to make them happy, right? For example, there are different stakeholders, they have invested some amount, some money in your business, and if as a business you are able to earn sufficient profit, and able to pass on that profit to the stakeholders, so you will make them happy. That boss, we have invested this amount in that particular business, in their shares, and now that company is doing so well that they are able to pay off us higher profits. Right? So your stakeholders, your shareholders will be happy. By making your stakeholders happy, you can raise the price of shares, or you can maximize your wealth. So these are the various methods by which you can maximize the wealth or the wealth maximization of shareholders. Fine. So this is the most important objective of financial management. Now we'll move on to the next objective, that is ensures enough funds at reasonable cost. Ensures enough funds at reasonable cost. As I told you earlier also that financial management aims at identifying the need of finance, right? Then identifying different sources of raising funds, right? While identifying different sources of raising fund and deciding upon which particular source of raising fund is good, right? That depends on the cost and the risk involved, right? So they have to see, like a company or the financial manager has to make sure that funds, identification of requirement of funds should be done at the right time. They have to identify the right time, and at the right time they should be able to acquire or arrange funds which are required, right? Plus at reasonable cost. You have to identify various sources and you have to compare those sources in terms of getting the best source which is, having right or the optimum cost at which they can acquire and should have an optimum level of risk involved. Okay. Second one is ensures safety of funds. As we all know that a business is run in uncertain or very complex business environment, right? Future is uncertain, so is our planning, right? Things, they don't move the way we plan, right? So there is always a threat of loss, right? So what we have to do as a financial planner, as a company, what we are supposed to do, we have to ensure the safety of our funds. For example, we have acquired fund, and if we are investing those funds, right? So we have to make sure that if in future, if any mishappening takes place or occurs, or any loss occurs, then how we are going to manage or cope up with that particular loss. Because as I told you, things, they don't always move the way we plan. Now anything can happen because business is uncertain, business environment, it is risky, fine. So you have to make sure that you should have enough funds in your hand to cope up with that loss, right? For that purpose, a company maintains certain reserves to cover up any kind of loss, right? Any kind of loss which arises due to controllable or because of uncontrollable risk, uncontrollable factors, right? So a business should be able to manage or to cover up those losses. Okay, so that's why they maintain certain reserves. Fine. Now the third one is ensures efficient, effective and profitable utilization of funds. As I told you that you have to identify the need of finance at the right time, right? You have to invest, you have to make investment at the right time, and you have to invest in such a way that it should be able to give you profit. Fine. As I told you, that cost of procurement should be lesser than the return on investment. Fine. That should be lesser than the return on investment. Fine. The fourth one is ensures that finance or funds does not or do not remain idle. As a company or a financial manager, he has to make sure, he makes sure that whatever amount we have acquired through different sources, that should be invested at the right time. Okay, that should be invested at the right time. No amount, no money should remain idle, because ultimately that is going to decrease the amount of profit you can earn from that particular fund. For example, I have borrowed 1 lakh rupees from someone, and that 1 lakh rupees is remaining idle with me. I am not able to decide when and where I have to invest to earn further profit. I am not able to decide that, and that amount, that fund is lying with me idle for 2 months, right? So if I could earn, I could I could get interest on that amount, fine. If for 2 months I was not able to earn anything on that 1 lakh rupees for 2 months. So a financial manager or a company has to ensure that that particular amount which we have acquired through different sources, that should be utilized properly, efficiently, and at the right time, that is effectively, right, in terms of increasing ultimately, or for the wealth maximization, or for increasing profits. I hope you were able to understand the term financial management, its functions and its different objectives. Thank you.